This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Going to start things off with the West Coast Fever, who we did mention just a second ago, Nat. 4 from 4 to kick off the year.
They are on fire. I caught the last 3 quarters of that match, and they were challenged in the second quarter, but geez, they fought back beautifully. Sunday Ariang in defence is extraordinary.
Yeah,
she had a great game.
Well, she's in the Australian squad.
Yep.
She has been for a couple of years now. She's really just finding her feet there.
Because we wondered when Courtney Bruce left, whether, the best goalkeeper probably in the world, whether we could, still have a stronger defence. We're doing okay. Sunday Ariang is amazing.
I know this is a little bit disrespectful in a way because I don't know the GA's a name, but I don't know she's from the Caribbean.
Yes.
And I have mentioned her before to Caitlin Bassett, but because she's so quick and speedy, she really complements Janelle Fowler.
Yes. And obviously they have played together as part of the Jamaican national team. Her name's like Beckwith or something. Are you Googling it, Harry? Shanice
Beckford?
Shanice Beckford.
I was close.
She's just so speedy. She just compliments her so much, and it's hard to believe after winning the title last year that the Fever have got better. Yeah. And they seem to have got better. Yeah. And they had salary cap dramas and the whole lot.
Yeah, and they had some wholesale changes. So they lost Courtney Bruce, they lost Verity Simmons, retired to go and play AFL. Sasha Glasgow left to go to the Mavericks. So, there were a few holes there and they've certainly filled them.
They certainly have.
Well done.
Moving over to the F1s at the moment. Harry, I just want to get you to check out where Daniel Ricciardo has finished. I'm not sure myself, but I know that Lando Norris won his first F1 race.
Wow.
Ricciardo was 16th.
Well, he started from 18th or 20th because he had a penalty.
He had an amazing sprint session. Came fourth, and then qualified last. 17th maybe, but pushed back with the 3-grid penalty
because of the crash in China
last weekend.
Yep. And you would think, I was wondering, he'll be able to work his way through the field because of the sprint.
He did from
campaign.
20th to 16th.
It's not looking good for him. He's still smiling though.
It's a roller coaster for him.
Yeah.
Sonoda beating him. He keeps out qualifying Sonoda on a good day, but then
when you say a roller coaster for him, it's just plain poor because roller coasters normally go up
down.
All the way.
They haven't gone up yet.
Maybe it's more like a toboggan.
It's toboggan down the hill.
Okay, it's a slippery slide.
One of the other things I wanted to mention, hopefully I'll get through this really quickly, and I know I'm passionate about this, but I was watching this World Surf League all week, right?
Yes.
As you guys saw on my phone whilst we were at work.
Yes.
Anyway, on the Wednesday last week, they got some of the greatest surfers of all time out there just to do an expression session where everyone just at the Gold Coast, the crowd was enormous,
so
right?
it's like an exhibition match with the greatest surfers of all time.
Yeah, so Kelly Slater, Mark Occhilupo, Mick Fanning, Joel Parkinson, the whole gang. They were all down there surfing, Stephanie Gilmore together, and it was going off. It was such a big hit that on Friday they decided, because Paul Fisher, the DJ, was in town, and he used to be a pro, they set up a thing where they called it Fisher and Friends, and he picked his mates.
Yes.
And again, because he's mates with Mick Fanning and that, because he was on the world circuit, he got Slater in there.
Yeah.
The crowd there was just absolutely heaving, and then they all set it up afterwards that he played on Saturday night on the Gold Coast on the beach. 30,000 people going absolutely spare.
You say that though, but 1.6 million people went to Copacabana Beach to see Madonna. So
no, absolutely, I did see that. But the event was won by on the female side by a young 16-year-old girl. Her last name, I think it was Nose Burke. Was she beaten? Anyway, she went absolutely mental and scored the biggest 10-point ride I've seen in women's surfing ever.
So amazing, you can't remember her name.
Oh, well, I was caught up with another guy, Mikey Madonna, who won the men's side of thing at the age of 22, and he's an Australian. He was so emotional and so into the moment, all he could do was scream when they were trying to interview him. It was the best thing I've seen. And his dad came out and he was hugging him and he was screaming, and all his mates were around him and all they were doing was screaming at each other's faces. That's all they could do.
Aaron Brooks?
Aaron Brooks. I was going to go with Burke, but Burke got beaten.
Mikey McDonough.
Yeah, Mikey McDonough. He was the one I was talking about. But Aaron Brooks surfing as a 16-year-old female, which just took, you can see the progression. Yeah. And she was amazing. And all the women surfers out there were just frothing at the bit because they love that word. To see such a great performance. The
next generation coming through. It's brilliant.
Oh, it was so good. It had me up for the rest of the weekend.
Oh, look at you go.
And Fremantle getting the victory was great. But all this week is going to be talked on the football side of things is going to be about Luke Beveridge and the Western Bulldogs who lost to Hawthorn yesterday. I've got Luke Beveridge speaking now. In fact, he knows that the knives will be out.
Under the pump?
we know that unless you're winning games of footy, you're always vulnerable to media scrutiny. And so we just expect it. It's the nature of the industry. As I said before, I've got a thick skin, I can deal with it, but I won't let it affect the way that I care for and manage the playing group.
Well, hopefully he sticks by the players. Well, he will, because that's the coach's job, but you can't do a job without feeling the heat from the outside. They're coming over the hill tonight.
Has the board come out and said that they give him their full support? Because
I feel it's the next 48 hours we're going to hear it now. Yep.
That's when you know you're really in trouble.
They've got that stack lineup that everyone knows they're paying a fortune for. Big time forward line. They're all about 6'6". They're not getting it done. The Bont's in the middle of the ground with Libba and the team. Still not getting it done there. He's in trouble.
Dire straits.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Always great to catch up with the big Pav on a Monday morning. Maverick, good morning.
Good morning, Shawnee. Hello, Nat. How are you both?
It would have been funny if you called him Goose, I'll be honest.
Yeah, no, look, it was the obvious line. I didn't want to go with it because it was almost too obvious.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes...
That's all I've got, though, Pav.
I reckon Rooster, you know, the new one.
Yeah.
Rooster, yeah.
Son of Goose. Yeah.
What about Merlin? He played an integral part in the first one.
In the first one he did, Hollywood as well.
Yes,
Hollywood was Goose's wingman, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Or his co-pilot? I reckon.
Co-pilot. Yeah.
What about that? That is just a cracking 80s movie because they're playing volleyball in their jeans. They've got, their shirt off basically every other opportunity.
He's riding a motorbike with no helmet.
Yep. Yeah. Just brilliant.
Well,
Bring it back.
Celebrate Pav's 40th birthday. He was dressed as Maverick.
Is that right? Very on brand.
Yeah, it was an 80s theme. So we had plenty of fluoro. We had, Lauren was, what was her name? Charlie, wasn't it? Charlie was she the instructor?
Yeah.
I don't
think it was Charlie. That Maverick ended up sort of
hooking up with.
Having a bit of, exactly.
I'll Google it.
Nat's going to Google it.
You keep going.
While you do
I think it is Charlie.
Just what's it? Well, just quick update on the kids' sport over the weekend. Everyone had sport going on: netball, football, the likes, hockey, probably a few basketball.
Yeah, we had. I was counting it from school pickup on Friday afternoon to yesterday after Harper's basketball, which finished at about 4 p.m. We had 9 sporting activities.
You've only got 3 kids. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, so we had the added fortune that our junior footy club got the call up on Saturday night to go and play Auskick at half time of the Eagles and Essendon game. So I was multitasking. I was talking about the Eagles Essendon game and then quickly filming our youngest, Will, who was playing at half time, which was a lot of fun.
Amazing.
So he got to play in front of 51,000 Eagles fans, which I think he enjoyed, and with all his mates had a great time. But yeah, it was just full on, and basketball, hockey, footy. It's all begun like everyone else out there who's got kids, multiple kids, and keen on sport. It's a busy weekend.
Yeah, the secret is to only let them play one thing at a time, and also hope they're not really good at it.
No, but you want to.
Have an endless supply of beer and gin, apparently.
That does. For them or you?
Now, Pav,
definitely for us.
Let's talk about the WA teams in particular. On Saturday night, West Coast put up a really good performance against Essendon, although the first half it looked like Essendon were well and truly in control, but straight kicking
they clawed back,
kept the Eagles in it. And I just want to take my hat off to Jake Waterman, who won't be playing this week. Geez, he's developed into an absolute beast in the forward line.
Yeah, he's had a huge purple patch, hasn't he? The last sort of month or so, 6, 5, 4, bags of 3, 4. He's been just so consistent. And again on Saturday night, he could have been the hero after he took that huge contested mark late in the game. Jamie Cripps gives away a bit of a silly free kick, a reversal, and then the game's over. But you're right, the match. I mean, Essendon could have been way further in front at half time, and they probably should have been. The Eagles midfield got smashed early. The likes of Durham and Merritt and Parrish just were doing what they pleased, really, and were showing a clean set of heels to Yeo, Reid, Kelly. But then they got moving. Tim Kelly, especially in the second half, was huge. Elliot Yeo's a concern with that groin injury. He only played a third of the year. Let's hope it's not too significant. In terms of how long he is out, that's probably the news of today. We'll find out a little bit more of that as the day goes. But look, they were good after after half-time. And look, in the end, they probably could have stolen it. They only had 40-odd inside 50s compared to 60, so you're right about their straight kicking and their efficiency. That kept them in the game. But the Bombers, they're having a good season.
Do you reckon both WA teams should be spewing a little bit that neither of them picked up Nick Martin? Like, he's turned into a gun, hasn't he?
Well, particularly West Coast. He was training there for two cracks, and then they sort of missed on him. Yeah, he's been a revelation.
That they fall through the cracks like that and then they turn out to be really good.
Well, there's been plenty of examples of it. I mean, Freo had Michael Barlow and Alex Silvani and Tendo Muzungu, sort of more mature recruits. West Coast have had them over the years.
I mean, Matt Prittis is a good example.
Well.
Yeah.
Sam Manlingola played like hundreds of games for Geelong and played in premiership. He was one that was at our club as well. Sorry.
Yeah, Sammy probably would have played at Fremantle back in the day, but he sort of suffered a knee injury at the wrong time. And sometimes it can just be that the players do need a bit more time to mature. I mean, I've been big on this for a long time, that we should lift the draft age, because you're sort of setting up players to fail in general, I think, in the early part of the year. I mean, for every Harley Reid, there's another 50 that don't play in their first two seasons. So I think I still have a firm view that we need to lift the draft age, put a proper AFL reserve system in place, and make the waffle.
Because their bodies are still growing, aren't they? You know, some of these guys could easily... Yeah.
they're not mature enough as much as anything else. Their bodies absolutely. And Harley Reid, you're sort of almost starting to see some signs a third of the way through the season that he's going to have to be continually to be managed, because he can't go a full season. He can't really go a full game. He's a burst player. He does some things that are wonderful, but he needs to keep working on his overall fitness and maturity. But we know he's going to be a star. But the point is, lift the draft age, and you're looking after a lot of these players that eventually mature, given a bit more time.
Oh, Pav, I was going to get on to Freo, but I want to just stick with this for a second. If you play a reserves team in the AFL, and the clubs do, what does that do for the Sandful and the Waffle who are hanging on by their teeth? I can see the advantage of, first of all, if you lifted the draft age, then you can go along and watch East Fremantle, South Fremantle, whatever, and the quality of game would be so much better.
Yes, because there's more talent.
Yeah. But that decimates the local
you need to decrease. You need to decrease the list sizes. This is the other thing that I think fundamentally needs to happen. Like, instead of having 40 on the list, you have, on an AFL list, you have closer to 30, 32. You push players back to the AFL reserves and to your local clubs. And there becomes more vertical movement. We've seen, highlights of it this year, where the young lad who played for Collingwood on the weekend wasn't on an AFL list only 10 weeks ago, and now he's playing. And there's been plenty of examples of that through COVID, where clubs have had to call up players from the Waffle and the SANFL and allow some more vertical movement. So there's some, and look, I hear what you're saying, Shawnee. The lower grade systems in terms of the Waffle, etc., will need some fundamental change to their programs as well, and what that means. But I think for the overall system from the grassroots up, there does need to be fundamental change to the way. And instead of it being bottom up, I think, because we always sort of focus on the bottom up, what does it mean for grassroots footy? Well, let's actually solve the top bit.
Work top down.
And then, top down is my view. But there's some change that's required there.
Okay, we'll look forward to see what that looks like. The Dockers, mate, 54 points. They really got hummed.
It was a good win.
And I'll just jump into this, that Justin was really quite on the front foot during the week at press conferences, talking about that Fremantle are a high handballing team, so they don't move the ball extremely slow all the time. And they showed that through the middle of the ground on the weekend.
Yeah, I think Justin was well entitled to having a bit of a crack back. We haven't necessarily seen that from him. He's more about the actions speaking louder than his words in terms of the way the team plays. But he did have a crack at critics who don't analyse his game properly and the Freo game properly, and so they move the ball quickly. They control the ball when they need to, and they play quickly when they need to, is probably what he was trying to say. And in fact, they are one of the highest handball teams in the competition, which lends itself to the ball moving pretty quickly. Anyway, that aside, they kicked the ball around a lot yesterday and really tired out, exhausted the Richmond players, and in the end, they smashed them. It was almost a 10-goal victory. Hayden Young was enormous in the midfield, a couple of goals. He started the game, and the tone for Freo. Caleb Sarong continues on his merry way with plenty of touches. But and Josh Tracy, he's the one up forward, Shorty, who is probably going unnoticed, but he won't go unnoticed if he keeps clunking them and kicking plenty of goals.
He's been outstanding, and imagine him besides Pav back in the day. Like, we'd have won title after title. Poor guy had to carry the load himself.
A bit of a shadow, though, with Shaun Darcy getting injured.
They're saying he's fine.
That's the other one that we'll keep a close eye on today. 9 News. We'll sort of find out what's going on with Elliot Yeo and
Get
Shaun
to the bottom
Darcy.
of it. Get back to us.
We will. We'll let you know tonight.
All right. Good man. Love your work,
Good on you, Pav. Hey.
See you, dude.
See you, man.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.